Hey, MMT followers, Christina Fuges with MoldMaking Technology for a quick MMT chat. My guests today all hail from Canon, Virginia, in Newport News, Virginia. They are Wayne Daniel, the Director of Business Development, Scott Lundberg, Director of Product Development, and Rhonda Bunn, the Senior Director of HR and Corporate Communications. Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello.
How's it going?
You know, I have to mention, the last time I saw you was in February in California at MD&M West, before the outbreak really hit home. I even remember walking the aisles and people were talking about it, but that was like it. And you fast forward 2.5 months and it's like, look where we are. Like, here we are. So much has happened.
We were still shaking hands in February.
That's right. We're still shaking hands in February. Exactly. That seems like so long ago. So before we get into the advancements of the Shuttle Mold System, which is, I do want to talk about that, we have to talk a little bit about COVID and its impact on Canon. So just in the sense of how everybody is, how businesses are, how business is doing, any precautions you guys have taken. So let's get into that first a little bit. Rhonda?
Okay. Obviously, it's impacting us. It would be crazy to say that it was not. So we've had to change, our operations, how we're operating day to day. We're seeing some fluctuations depending on the customer, right? We have some customers that have been directly impacted, like aerospace. Obviously, they've been impacted. But kind of what we've done for our 1,500 employees is what you see now, right? We have the folks that can work from home, working from home. Folks that cannot work from home, we've asked them to do a couple things. One, we've spread them across shifts, right? Do we really need to have everybody in manufacturing working on first shift? Maybe not. So let's maybe look and spread them across so we don't have so many people in the building at any given time of the day. Lots of precautions related to OSHA and what the CDC is recommending, right? From the plexiglass between stations, wearing the mask. There's one break room chair per table in the break room. Anybody that's a visitor is getting their temperature checked when they come on the property. Senior management's meeting every single day, looking at attendance. Who's attendance? How many cases do we have? Where are they? What do we need to do? Touch point cleaning every day in every area. So every door handle, every knob is getting cleaned every single day. So a lot of precautions being taken for our employees. Masks are required. So if you're sick, stay home. Those type of general precautions also that we've taken.
Have you done anything different, or have you stepped up in terms of leadership and keeping employee morale at a certain level? Like, I could imagine having to show up, right, in an environment, depending on what you listen to and what you watch. There's a little bit of fear and uncertainty in coming into the workplace. So how is Canon leadership stepping in to help with that?
Well, a couple things. One, like I said, they're meeting every single day. They get a COVID update every single morning. And then our president's doing a couple things, right? He is sending out communications to everybody. Hey, this is what's happening. This is how I feel. Thank you for what you're doing. And he's also going to the manufacturing floor, right? So he, this week, has visited, I think, every single operation. The workers that are there every single day, kind of telling them thank you. Unfortunately, we can't get together and reward them with a lunch or, something like that. We've got some plans to do that when we can obviously get back together again. But just being very visible and communicating what is happening.
It's leadership and communication.
Yeah, communications is the key, right? The folks that do not have email, we do have a couple of those people. The manufacturing areas have created boards, right? So every communication that we do send out, they're posting, right, to make sure that they get it and they see it and it's visual. And that's really been for us.
Smart. So Scott, can you talk a little bit about what kind of projects in terms of the virus, has Canon been involved with so far?
Yeah, so of course, as everyone has felt, just a desire, need to, how can we help, right? So we started contacting a lot of, in the local area for the state of Virginia, just what kind of needs is our state seeing, or our local area around Newport News. And so we started just gathering a lot of those ideas and hearing a lot of needs, and then trying to figure out what can we do to address any of these needs. And there's some other things that we're still looking into that we can't quite talk about yet, but one that we identified, so it's a simple thing, small help, but it's helping some folks, as a face shield, right? So
Right.
not injection molded at this point, just kind of quick to get small, low volume out. And so 3D printing, we have a lot of 3D printers because we do a lot of prototyping already. So 3D printing a headband for a design that was already out there and in use. And then the other nice thing about it is it's hard to source raw material right now because it's getting consumed by all these different folks that are needing it. So, but it uses a transparency for the shield. And since we're a printing company, we have a lot of this in our warehouse already, right? So just kind of leveraging our own materials and capabilities, and then the folks involved with it are just excited and motivated to help even in a small way. So it's been pretty fun seeing people get together and across the different divisions and just make it happen. So.
And just to know that they know they're having a direct impact on something that's happening today. That's just lifting everybody up.
Yeah, so I think it's been a good motivator for that. Yep.
Exactly. I mean, actually, you're right, and that helps with morale. They're knowing they're coming in to do something meaningful. So speaking of that, how did you work this project into Canon's normal workload, and who's involved in it? How many people from the team? Like, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we pulled in a few different people from a few different divisions, mostly the ones that had 3D printing capability. My division, we've got some laser cutting of capability to pattern our transparencies with, right? So as really, we did have to look at make sure we're using downtime on machines because there's still some other business operations ongoing. And then to be honest, using a lot of our technician support for this once we kind of got the design ready and going, and they were motivated enough that they just were creative in figuring out how they could fit this in and still keep above their business priorities moving along. So it was fun to see.
Did you, by having something like this, kind of this urgent project thrown in, did you learn anything about your people or your current processes that when we get to ordinary times, you will apply something new that you've learned?
Yeah, good question. I think really one thing that we just always need to keep in mind is if we're working on things that are these meaningful projects, which we have lots of those, just tapping into the natural motivation and desires of our members that really want to make a difference, right? And so that's just been fun, and letting some of them kind of just help manage across disciplines. I oversaw some things, but they were just talking amongst themselves and figuring out how to get it done, right? And so just as we're and this is something we've been constantly working on, is how do we connect a little bit better some of our divisions, right? Because a lot of times we work in our own areas, but it's
all
good.
silos, right? Yeah.
So we want to keep that going forward for sure.
So give me a little snapshot for everybody. Give me a snapshot of Canon Virginia in terms of the work that you do. I should have started off with that, so we can paint a better picture of what your capabilities are in terms on the mold building side and any molding.
Rhonda, you want to take that? Rhonda?
Yeah.
You want
Well,
to
you
take that?
want a complete picture, huh? Right. So we have mold making capability. We'll let Wayne probably talk about it a little bit more, but we also do a lot other for Canon, right? We do service and support operations for Canon and non-Canon products related to anything that's kind of mechanical. Scott's actually in product development, so we're doing some product development. We're doing some investigation into how we can participate in that arena. We have an aerospace customer. We do a lot of return repair for the Canon market, and we do a lot of manufacturing in the molding side of some products that are molded.
Is it diverse across all end markets? You're not particular to one industry?
I was going to let Wayne, you want to talk from that from a molding perspective?
Well, so one of our primary businesses is, printer and peripheral products, cartridges and things of that nature, supporting Canon business. But we're pretty diverse otherwise. Mold making and molding, we, are all industries. It really doesn't matter. Medical, automotive, aerospace, agricultural, we do all of those types of projects. Specifically injection mold tooling. However, if there's a need for molded parts, we'll also, do that for the outside too.
Diversity is the key right now, and I think that is what is, for a lot of the smaller shops, that's what they're learning.
Yes.
I guess whenever there's some sort of downturn, that is what they learn. Because now you have
Yeah.
automotive-specific tool builders doing a lot of medical work that are like, oh, maybe we should get into this. But
Right.
so being diverse is the key to all of it, just like it is in your
Right.
personal, right?
And from a sales point of view, where I am now, we're actually pretty swamped with inquiries. So we're getting, big customers, we're getting the little smaller customers, that they need tooling, they need parts. Some of it's in response to COVID.
Okay, I
So
was
yeah,
gonna ask that.
it's been pretty busy.
But it's not all COVID. So the other work, what is that? Is that some reshoring that's going on? Like, is there an uptick in business because of that, or is it unrelated at all to COVID?
Well, the reshoring actually had already started, earlier this year because of the reinstatement of the tariffs. So we were starting to see some of that anyway. And then I think with this whole pandemic, the reliance on China is starting to be questioned, I think, more and more. I mean, look at the discussions on the PPE side and the pharmaceuticals. So, once we come out of this, I think it's going to kind of be a double barrel thing. So the tariffs and then our reliance on China is going to be an issue. So
Yeah,
we need to,
let's hope so. Let's hope everybody at least starts to rethink their supply chain and think more locally. But a lot of times I think we tend to have very short-term memories as human beings. So we will see. So let's switch gears a little bit and get into, I know we spoke about the Shuttle Mold System when we did our podcast together back in February. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, what has happened since then, or what are some of the advancements that you've made. But I guess start off by explaining what the Shuttle Mold System is.
Okay. So the Shuttle Mold System is a Canon developed system. It's an add-on to injection molding machines that allows you to run basically 2 molds in one machine simultaneously. When I say simultaneously, I mean we every cycle we change over and we shuttle one mold out and another mold in. We utilize cooling time to mold another part, so we do our cooling time on the outside of the press. And basically, it allows us to up to double machine productivity by molding 2 different parts, 2 different molds, one molded machine, same cycle.
Wow. So that is in no way like a stack mold. This is completely different.
No, it's completely different. Right. It follows all the traditional injection molding, simple tooling concepts.
So what would you say is an ideal application for this system?
Ideal application probably would be a part that runs a cooling time a little bit long. So if we get to cycle time somewhere around 30 seconds and longer, we can have the greatest benefit for the system. Anything shorter than that, it's hard to take advantage. There's not enough cooling time to take advantage of to do something else. Okay. So 30 seconds and above. It doesn't matter industry. It applies to all industries. So typically automotive seem to have the larger parts with the longer cycle time. So that's one of the areas that we're targeting.
Okay. What would you say are the greatest benefits of this system if you were selling it to an OEM or a supplier?
Greatest benefits would be probably reduction of capital investment. So you can actually increase your productivity, produce more parts on one machine, which will allow you in the end to not have to buy an additional molding machine to support that extra capacity. So,
is there something that the company has to have prior to investing in something like this? On their front floor? No?
Not really, no. It's completely add-on. It can be added on to any molding machine. It's up to the machine maker for the integration.
Okay.
Tooling has to be a little bit standardized. So, for example, mold base has to be the same size or be able to be modified because the system rolls on rollers. So it has to be basically same size.
Got it. Is there any maintenance, different kind of wear and tear issues with this kind of system?
No, not really any different. You're still molding, the tool as you would normally would. There's still the same number of cycles you're going to run. Your just output can be great.
And how would you sell this? So who is your main customer? Like, are you selling this to the tool builder at the company, the processor who's working the press, the OEM? Like, who's your target customer there?
So our target right now is actually the mold machine manufacturer. So we
Okay.
want buy-in from the manufacturer to add this system on because they have to do the integration. But also our customers, we're trying to upsell a little bit. So we're, if we see a benefit in our customer's facility, we'll bring it up, and the customer, depending on what machine they have, we can work with the machine manufacturer to try to get that integration done.
Okay, got it. So is there anything else? Actually, are there on the site, are there videos or examples of this on the site that I could share when we do this piece?
We have a website dedicated to the shuttle mold system. I need to check because we were revamping that to make sure we have the most up-to-date information, but yes, we'll provide that.
Okay.
So yes.
So before I let you guys go, moving forward, what is your biggest concern related to the coronavirus?
I just think it's how do we get everything moving again? Right? It's kind of scary thinking about that. You know, not only do we how do we bring employees back to work, but how does the whole country get back moving again?
I think from the mold making side, I think a lot of people are going to start looking at more automation. You know, in their shops, how can we spread people out so they're not, you know, side by side running machines, possibly tool changers, things of that nature that we can kind of redo the shop a little bit. Maybe the layouts will change. You know, we already proved that we can work remotely with designings and CNC programming. So we've kind of ironed that out, as painful as it may have been.
Exactly. You're doing it.
I think, yes. I think the biggest concern, like Rhonda said, is getting going again, and how can we in the future, you know, prevent cross-contamination, if you will, with, you know, things of that nature.
Yeah. How about you, Scott?
Yeah, I think the world will be a little different still going forward after we reopen, and I think there's going to be a lot of still some needs to be met. That's something that definitely we have an eye on, looking to see how we can help out. Not today, but also just not only today, but also in the future as we're opening up in safe ways and trying to figure out how to get everyone moving again, and hopefully more permanence to that. So
it is. What I found interesting, all the mold builders and some molders that I'm talking to, it's really the positive side of all this is the light that it's shining on manufacturing and mold making specifically in my world, and what they've been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. Acknowledging that the molds aren't as complicated, you know, things are a little bit different, but it's really getting shops to look at what they're doing and seeing if what they're doing now they can do in ordinary times. And I think it's going to be and I agree with you, Wayne. A lot of them are looking at, now's the time for me to invest in that specific technology or software or system. You know, now's the time to look for a certain type of person to come into this company, because I think through this experience they're learning a lot about their people too. People that they thought were really efficient aren't so efficient or aren't so reliable. So it's a really a learning experience on many levels. And I hope if they're paying attention when we come out of this, I think they're going to see a new face to mold manufacturers specifically. And that's what I'm hoping for. And I think there's going to be a lot of interesting stories to tell maybe a year from now, once everything is back to normal, if we could say there is such a normal anymore, but we shall see. So I want to thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I will check back with you with the website, any kind of resources we have before this goes live. I'll make sure I add it in. And remember, everybody out there, for everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com and stay safe and stay healthy.